Com check. We're live.
Target acquired.
What the hell is that?
Abort.
Man, they got everything right about this movie so much that they even got the theme song right. You know, at the end of the Mission Impossible thing, when they go like, Betty! They had that. They got that one dude back. That dude that plays the bongos. You know,
I was about to say that movie got it right. I don't know what you got. You sound like you need to get your car checked in the auto shop.
His car does make that sound like I'm driving the Mission Impossible car.
Auto zone that
Tone
shit.
deafness is what he got.
It's like you ran over somebody.
I know. But when you open the trunk, you know what you get. You get that guy with those bongos. Here you go, sir. You got a guy playing bongos in your trunk right here. Oh, you got Tom Cruise back here in the engine.
Well, you know, you get Tom Cruise to push the car because he's going to be running his ass off. I ain't never seen somebody.
You just need to jump on Tom Cruise. He'll take you wherever you need to go real quick.
Get that section fast, too.
Yeah, man.
Damn, Tom Cruise.
If he was one of the Flintstones, he'd be a race car driver.
I know he can drive a car with his feet.
Speed racing.
You could watch the entire Boston Marathon and you won't see nobody run as much as Tom Cruise does in this movie right here.
And yet, I gotta say, for all the Mission Impossible movies, this is the first time that they finally realized there's no Tom in team.
Oh yeah,
It's like, yeah, it's a team effort. For the first time, it really feels like they went, hey, maybe we should give everybody something to do, you know, throughout the entire film.
Oh yeah. There's even a point in the movie where he just comes out and tells his team that they have. You know, the last three movies been all about my conceited ass, but you know what? I realize now that it's all a team effort, and I want to give you guys something to do. So that's what I've been saying about these movies the whole time, and I think this is a movie that has actually perfected what Mission Impossible is about, because I've always said it's about the team. It ain't about fucking Tom Cruise and running around grinning and growing his hair out every movie and shit.
Well, hell, I mean, not only is it so much more about the team, do they include him more, but they're the ones who have all the personality to the point that where he's just kind of generic himself, other than a guy who runs and does crazy stunts.
And I'm glad you said that, yeah, because throughout this the whole movie, he plays it so stone cold serious. And I guess to a point you're like, okay, I get that. He is like the ultimate badass of this movie. He's almost playing like the character from Collateral, where whatever he sees he needs to get done, he needs to get it done quick. And he doesn't have time for any kind of human, Simon Pegg. He doesn't have time for comedy relief, and he doesn't have any time for drama. He just needs to bust through a fucking window and get the job done.
Well, yeah, we've seen enough through the other three movies, assuming you were able actually physically to sit through all three of the previous films, that we know enough about this guy. We know who Ethan Hunt is. I mean, I still hope
Ethan Hunt?
Oh, sorry.
Was that a Freudian slip?
I thought you said Ethan.
Speaking of that, though, I still hope they bring his brother Mike in at some point.
I thought you said Ethan Cunt for a second. I was like, oh,
Wow.
You know you loved it. But,
No, you made that happen.
I know.
That wasn't organic.
no, it was, because I was like, shit, I got to get out of this Freudian slip thing somehow.
So you put your own Ethan Hunt. That was your impossible mission.
It was. But, you know, it's like we know enough about him already, where even though he has a story arc, it's not really even his story arc anymore. It's all expressed through the other characters. They're like, man, I'm kind of worried about Ethan and his story arc.
Well, you know what it was.
And he's like, will you just shut up and do the mission?
Yeah, it was almost like, because in the first Mission Impossible, they killed his team off in 5 minutes within the movie.
Yeah.
So it was almost like here, he looked around like, damn, y'all ain't dead yet? Shit. Y'all still here? All right, let me give y'all something to do then. If y'all ain't gonna die in the first 10 minutes, come on, you take this, you take this,
Yeah,
you
he
take
was
that.
like, wow, I'm not sure what to do with a team at this point. I'm used to pretty much working by myself.
And it's actually a building sense of camaraderie throughout it, which is nice and appropriate. Like, I mean, we see some returning people from the last movie, of course.
Sure.
Simon Pegg, of course, has come back, and indeed in the same role, but this time now he is a field agent, so you actually get a lot more of him. And you're right. Cruz looks around like what are you still doing here? That they actually make a point, even in the movie, of him kind of group hugging them.
I thought there was a great part where you can probably tell Tom Cruise probably tried to change that script, because he's like, everyone's like, what's going on? What, are you going to do this alone? And then 2 minutes later, you need a whole team to do this job. And he's like, oh, fuck.
It's almost like they showed up. He's like, guys, I got that. And they looked up a contract saying, nope, whole movie. We ain't going nowhere, man. Gotta keep us well. We're unionized now.
Yeah, right?
But you do need a guy like him to be a leader of impossible missions, because he never says, I can't do this.
No.
There's nothing you throw at him, even though it's statistically and physically impossible for this to ever happen. He just still goes, nope, there's a way.
Yeah.
I'm going to just start running until shit happens.
There's a lot of there are even a lot of scenes of this movie. I don't know if you guys noticed where people on his team like almost do some of the shit he's done before in the previous films, and he's yelling at him, "Do it! Just do it already! I did it. You could do it. Do it!"
Yeah, I'm like, if you're gonna be here, then do it. Goddamn it! You know I can do that shit myself, but no, you want to work with me, so go ahead. You jump off that shit. Yeah, you do that stunt.
I
You take that shit off.
torment. I'm like, oh, what a little puss.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, put Jeremy Renner, the new guy, on there. Hey, man, I did that drop. Do it. You better fucking do that. You better do that shit.
I'll do it. Fuck it. I'll do both things at the same time.
I know, like it's almost like Jeremy Renner's getting his ass beat by a bad guy, and Jeremy Renner look at Tom Cruise like, man, you gonna help me? Tom Cruise, nope. You want to be in the movie? You take it on.
Gotta pay your dues.
Yeah, you take that ass whooping like a man.
Even so, Cruise is still, I mean, he's still Cruise, and it's like, fair enough, they talked him into letting everybody else have their own place in the film, but when it comes to the big stunts, everyone's like, excuse me, Mr. Cruise is up front and center.
Oh,
now.
you know what? It wouldn't have been like that. Tom Cruise was standing there, and then CG Tom Cruise came in and said, nope, excuse me, I'll do this. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I mean, this movie, I love this movie, man. I really do. This is probably, as far as action movies go this year, this is by far my favorite because there are so many amazing things in this film. And plus, for a movie that's a spy film, I'm glad they took it down to some old-fashioned spy shit, and to even making America and Russia hate each other again, you know, down to the point where you got a supervillain want to launch a nuclear missile. I mean, that's some old shit. You know, that's some old supervillain shit.
Something where my 1980 brain can still understand the concept of good and evil.
It's when James Bond was good, like back in the like crazier James Bond spectacle days, you know? You're like, wow, yes, this is insane. It is Mission Impossible, only with not just one guy.
See, I just thinking like, as supervillains go, that guy's so passe. It was very 1984. Other villains would have looked at him like, get with the times, my good man.
Oh, yeah, no, it's almost like if there was a convention of supervillains, you know, they'd be like, man, I'm about to release a virus. I'm about to release some shit on computer that's going to shut down the nation, you know. I'm going to set loose a plague that's, you know, invented with a lab somewhere. What you going to do, man? I'm going to release a nuclear missile. Like, really?
It's a plot. Yeah, it's a plot that Dr. Evil...
You're still using nuclear.
It's a plot that, plot that Dr. Evil could easily conceive, but Brad Bird, my hat, if I had one, my hat's off to him because, wow, he made this by far the most exciting, most... like just fucking edge of your seat movie that you can expect with a spy film in the longest fucking time, honestly.
Yeah. Even though, and I will say this, I don't think the script was perfect. And I think that one of the issues was the bad guy. The bad guy is so undefined as to be even unclear who he actually is at points. I'm like, wait, who is the villain in this film? And I think it's to Brad Bird's credit that with all the inconsistencies in the script, and there were quite a few, he just shone right over them by doing such a fantastic job with the pacing, just the sheer velocity of the goddamn thing, and the way he took advantage of the IMAX.
Oh, yeah,
at points, like your jaw hits the floor. You're
Yeah.
like, oh my God.
Well, that's sort of the thing. I mean, I don't know if you still want to give a synopsis.
No, because it is a great synopsis here, and again, like I said, it's very simple. You know, I like when you have a team of, especially when the spy has to go under. You know, when he has nobody on his side. You know, spies get by because they can always call in some backup and get some gadgets sent to them or something. And in this movie right here, you have the IMF, which is the Impossible Mission Force. That sounds like they should be like in headbands, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, Impossible Mission Force, they should be like all in like tight.
It's kind of a weak name when you come right down to it. I mean, they call themselves the Impossible Mission Force.
It sounds like
I was trying to figure it out in the theater. Like, I am, man, what the fuck does that incredible motherfuckers? I don't know.
Don't you remember they did that song Right Here, Right Now? Remember that?
Oh, that's the wrong fucking.
Yeah,
sorry. Is that
that's
different?
Jesus Jones.
Oh, is it?
No, you know, but that's what I thought of. It's like,
Sorry, wrong joke.
when I heard Impossible Mission Force, I immediately thought of a bunch of guys in tight spandex with headbands and, you know, loud colors and explosion behind them in their own like 80s guitar riff. Impossible Mission Force.
That's Team America you're talking about there.
Do you have any fantasies that don't include guys in tight spandex?
No.
There we go. We agreed not to bring this up again.
Hey, Leah. I got this outfit that fits you perfectly. You're not my fantasy yet. Where you been?
That's why I'm leaving as soon as this is done.
It's your old spoiler outfit.
We know one Mission Impossible, and that's not getting you to this outfit yet. No, you
And
know.
yeah, that's impossible. Trust me.
This is why I don't listen to a Coco.
But you know, so you've had the Impossible Mission Force, which has pretty much been Tom Cruise throughout the years. They've gone on and taken on these missions that have just not. They are the last resort. These are the guys you call in when nobody else can do it, except this time on one mission in Russia, the Kremlin is like blown up, and it's been they somehow whoever's responsible has been able to pin it on Tom Cruise and his crew, and because of that, they have been disavowed by the government, and they're left on their own to prove their innocence and also stop this madman who wants to, and that is where this big cliche comes in, who wants to start a new world order, start mankind over again, bring in world peace.
Ra's al Ghul did it first.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You know, a lot of people have done that by launching a nuclear missile over into the United States, which will in turn, of course, start a whole global nuclear war. And that's one of the cool things I like about that they have been able to, like, they have to work on their own. But outside of that, man, yeah, the script, like you said, man, the villain in here, who's named Hendrix, who's played by a guy who, whenever you see this guy in a movie, you can guarantee he's the bad guy.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, he was the lead in the original Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh, was that him?
I believe that was him.
Michael
Nyquil.
Yeah. Nyquil might as well be shit.
Nyquil.
It's sad they take such a good actor and they put him in this role where he barely even has any dialogue.
Right.
I mean, you'd expect even during the admittedly
That is the guy, man. I was wondering.
Admittedly, final badass fight between him and Ethan Hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, which is amazing. One of the best showdowns ever. He didn't even say anything during that.
know.
He's like usually expecting like no, I expect you to die or something.
Yeah, man. He didn't even have a white cat enough.
No,
He's all
bullshit.
That guy is just because this movie isn't about the villain; it's about the team.
Yeah, but I wish they did have a villain. I mean, you know, in this movie, it's just a guy with a European-looking face with a white Colonel Sanders
That's all you
suit.
need.
Yeah.
You got a European face, you wear a white suit, you a bad
Not
guy.
only a white suit, but a white Colonel Sanders suit. You know, I was like, damn,
After he killed a few million people, he's gonna fry some chicken.
I know he's like, after I destroy the world, I will start anew with a new fried chicken chain. You know, I will have 8 herbs and spices this time.
That shit will blow up in your mouth.
I will have 10 herbs and
A
spices.
nuclear explosion of flavor in your mouth. Yeah, you know.
Now that you say it like that, it actually doesn't sound like
You know what?
reasonable
I'm on
plan,
board for
really.
that. Every black person nations is like, yeah, blow this shit up, motherfucker. No, but you know what? The guy is about as generic as you can get, but I can almost push that aside because a villain like that is only bad when you don't have anything to distract you from him. Because in this movie, you have so many huge set pieces, so many great sequences, so much spectacle. Who, you know, the people who are responsible for writing this script, a little light on character, especially when it comes to your villains, but you know, some very creative action scenes. I mean, you have cliffhangers, of course, with Ethan Hunt played by Tom Cruise, having to climb skyscrapers at 100 stories high. You know, using I guess
a sticky glove.
A sticky glove of some kind. I was gonna say magnetic, but some sort of electronic sticky glove.
Nintendo Power Glove.
Yeah, exactly. The Power Glove. Yeah. You got scenes where a sandstorm is coming in, and you have a combination of a foot chase and a car chase in that sandstorm where you can't see what's happening, and then you have the scene that's in the wind tunnel
With Jeremy Renner?
With Jeremy,
man.
Jeremy Renner, where he has no control over where he is. The only person that can control him is Simon Pegg, because he's wearing a magnetic suit that's being controlled by a remote control
that looks like
device.
something that was bought from Liberace's garage sale.
But you know, those scenes, but they're imaginative scenes. And the team itself, the villains might not have been well, but Cyrus, you hit around the head with the team. Actually, the camaraderie that they build, again, makes up for whatever's lacking on character on the villain side. They make up on the hero side. In this time, you have, like you said, Simon Pegg returning as Benji, but then you have Paula Patton, who is a new member called Jane, and then,
who is 2 of the best things about this film?
Oh, 3. She's good, and then her 2 buddies are too. But and Jeremy Renner as Brent, and I don't know if this is true. I've heard rumor that he comes in as a special agent whose skills are probably right on par with Ethan Hunt's, and because of that, they say he's going to be if they continue the series, he might be in line to take over.
Man, Tom Cruise ain't stepping away.
That's what I'm saying.
There's no way in hell that's happening.
He's
Yeah.
stepping away.
Keep wishing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking that. This is rumor.
You and Holly Berry stand in that line over there where you think you're going to get your own spin-off off a big franchise. Like,
Cruise, well, you can have this franchise when you pry my dead cold
I know.
fingers
Yeah.
off.
Shit, Tom Cruise told Jeremy Renner, you better go talk to Jason Bourne, bitch, because you ain't getting this shit. Shit, you be better off being James Bond in this shit, right? God damn it. But, that's probably my biggest complaint of the villains. But the other thing is, like, the story, it's a typical spy story that's just it's layered by so many effects, so much great stunt work and so many great action sequences that I didn't have time to sit around and think about those things. When I start to think about, like, yeah, that's a plot. Whoa, shit, I got to hang on, right? Oh,
There's
wow.
really only 2 downtimes in the entire film where they take a break to explain the plot to you briefly, and they're both like 5 minutes apiece. And even in one of them, Jeremy Renner has to go, whoa, now wait, one more time.
Okay, so we enter the party separately as guests. Ethan quarterbacks while Jane gets
the codes from the billionaire. I switch off the fan, you jump into the computer array and I catch you. You plug in the transmitter, then Ethan feeds me the codes, which I then use to pinpoint Hendrick's location.
Okay, you just breezed over something I think really important, the computer array part, where I just jump.
And I catch you.
Yeah.
Why is that so hard to grasp?
Because the audience is like, thank you, because we don't really understand.
Because he's playing. Not only is he playing a kick-ass spy, but he's also playing the audience.
Yeah, he's the new guy.
Anything you're questioning in your head, he repeats on the screen. He's like, well, why would you do that to distract guys who are shooting you? Why would you? Because honestly, part of me was like, yeah, why would you do that?
Well, yeah, it's funny because the audience is like, yeah, as the audience, you go like, oh, I'm glad you asked that question. But as one of those guys who are actually there, it's like, have you been a spy before? I mean, why are you questioning everything I do?
Exquisitely crafted spectacle goes a long way for covering up for suspension of disbelief. I mean, it's Mission Impossible, not Mission Reasonably Plausible.
and like, because of things you guys are bringing up, I wasn't as in love with the movie as you guys are. I mean, I saw it as like, wow, a lot of great set pieces and some good stunts, and I love the team. I love the fact that, you know what, Paula Patton's character is one that normally would just get such a short shrift and you wouldn't know anything about her. And I felt like she was 3-dimensional. And so these things are great, and yet at the same time, plot wise and with the like just complete ignoring of the laws of physics, there's times it would take me out of it. I was like, it's a bunch of great set pieces strung together, but I wish there was more personality on the main character to pull me through.
Dude,
this.
I'm shocked. I am super shocked that this is coming out of your mouth right now, because I was right there, right next to you every goddamn minute. Your body was making some kind of odd movement, like you were trying to, I don't know, like dodge bullets or something, because you were like, ooh, checking under your seat.
I heard one good. Woo! Come out of him.
Well, trust me, they were great.
I was like,
great
wow.
set pieces. Don't get me wrong.
No, I actually agree with you too.
But I will say, in the last 30 minutes, that's when I steadily didn't give a shit about the things I had problems with. Like, I thought it really came so together in that last 30 minutes and held the momentum, and it was just one big fantastic ride that pushed it way back up again.
Bird does so much to just make it a super fun ride that it wasn't long into it at all that I didn't really care about that stuff. And I don't think, I mean, certainly not compared to Mission Impossible 2. It never does anything that's so ridiculous that you can't help but go, oh, come the fuck on.
Yeah.
It never goes that far, but it does go far enough where it's not just a spy thriller. It is a Mission Impossible film. It's stuff that, you got like a 1% chances. Even James Bond would be like, fuck you.
No, I mean,
I'm not doing that.
I'm with the 1% chance, but there are some things Tom Cruise is doing, like that went along with the climate of the building, where I was just like, come on, man.
But you know what? There's things in there, and I have to give, once again, I'll give credit to Brad Bird, because I was like, this movie still does have his stamp, which I was really curious. I was like, with guys Well, guys like him who've done, he's done incredible animation. He's worked with more than one character, so he knows how to like.
He directed Rats.
He knows how to work with more than one character. But the thing is I was like, wow, his stamp is really on here because of some of the humor in it that I noticed, and some of the set pieces where he makes things that would seem like, if I was to describe to you, Tom Cruise gets into a fight in some kind of like car plant with a bad guy. You think, okay, whatever, I've seen that before. This guy manages to make it extremely intense. I mean,
Absolutely.
I haven't seen a movie in the longest time where people just falling onto shit seems so goddamn painful that you believe it. And when you see these people get up, you can see that they're still in pain. It's like, okay, I'm glad somebody's still paying attention to some of those Jackie Chan movies where when you fall and hit somebody, you should feel like you're fucking hurting.
Well, that's the thing. Up to that point, Tom Cruise is going through things that nobody would walk away from, and he would get up and run away from them.
But
when you get to that scene, that's when you're like, okay, you feel the pain, and everybody's affected.
I tell you why this is, and it bears mentioning that the reason why I'm making such a big deal out of Brad Bird is that because, for those who don't know, Brad Bird is an animator. A lot of history with Pixar alone. In The Incredibles is probably his best known movie. And Iron Giant. I would say Incredibles because I remember Iron Giant kind of got the shaft.
Sure.
But everybody knows The Incredibles through Pixar.
Okay.
And I mentioned The Incredibles because that was a spy film within itself.
Right.
And so you look at that and it's like, yeah, he's a natural for this, but really there's a big difference between live action and animation. And all those people, because I've heard it more than once, people say, I'm just hopeful for this movie because I want that director to do well. I want Brad Bird to do well. Critics love this guy. And, rest assured that he does do very well with this. But outside of just being able to direct a live action movie, you have to mention the scriptwriters here because I think they're also responsible for some of the great scenes that we have here. Josh Applebaum and Andre Nemare. With Brad Bird's talents and the talents of these scriptwriters, the reason why the outrageous shit finally work in a movie like this is because all of them have been able to they're able to create a universe finally where it all makes sense. So, yeah, it's outrageous, but within the physics of this world, I can buy it, Yeah. I mean, there's a point where Tom Cruise just drives a car off a ledge that's, about 30 feet up in the air, and he hits head down. Anybody would die in that situation, but he says, oh, this car has an airbag. I'm okay. He hits the ground.
That's what they're for.
I'd be curious to actually know how that would compare to a head-on crash, which people do in fact survive.
Hey, you know what? Look, I'm not complaining. I went with it. I didn't care.
I felt like that was within the realm of plausibility.
And you also can't forget, these guys have technology so ridiculously advanced that who's to say he doesn't have a fucking cybernetic spine or some shit like that? I'm just saying,
and if he doesn't, they'll have one in the next scene.
Yeah, I'm not out of the question that the guy's had some. Well, we know he's had some work done.
You know what?
I probably had less of a problem with the stunts he survived from than how much technology they had at their disposal.
Well,
it's almost like sci-fi. Like, wait, is this take place in this century or is this the 3000s?
But even the show was that way. So I mean, that's a tradition of that. That didn't bother me. What bothered me though was that they start off early going, "This shit right here." This is all we got. And then that's like, the new shit keeps happening. At one point, they've got like a supercar. You're like, that wasn't in that room.
Thank you, man. That was one of my problems with the movie. I didn't know how much I should bring up, but they're told early on, like, okay, you guys only have a limited amount of resources available at your disposal.
Everything else is shut down.
We can't give you anything, but somehow there's a train with, retina recognition on it. They get like a supercar, not just a car. We're talking about some ghetto drug dealers, fat rims, neon shit.
No, this is a Mission
Fast and Furious shit.
It's like Mission Impossible mobile from Tron.
Where did you fucking get that?
The way the GPS was all over the windshield, that's straight out of Tron.
Yeah, come on. You know what? I mean, I know y'all got
that could exist, but just not in the context you've just sold us.
No, of course not.
Wait, we can't get any of that shit. Would that fit in the glove compartment of that?
No. You got like a.
Came through the contract.
Yeah, no. You got like a.
Fucking Hertz Rent-A-Car is amazing.
Well, I don't think they were, but they got like this great package that came with just fucking conveniently everything that they needed. But I had a major problem with. But I think you hit it, co-host, right on the head when you said that this is a throwback to even Jackie Chan films, like some of the best Jackie Chan films that we've seen. But not with granted, whatever story we have here. it's, we get a little more story than we ever did in a Jackie Chan movie. But it's like I said, I can nitpick at this movie, and I've been accused of nitpicking more than once, of course. And I am a little bit on certain things. Yeah. But I absolutely love this movie. I tell you talk about Tom Cruise running. Tom Cruise got a little black in him, man, because that dude runs like a black man. You know how black people run like they karate chop and win. That dude running. Whoever got in his way, they get knocked out because his hands are just going up and down.
And the Underground Railroad wasn't no joke. You had to be able to run.
Shit, I would cast Tom Cruise as a slave now. No makeup or anything, just based on his running abilities.
I have to admit, there was
hard shoes too.
There was an odd scene. I don't know if you guys caught it, but like the scene where he's trying to outrun this huge sandstorm, where the camera is looking like the camera's below his head. So when the camera's facing up, he looks like a god running amongst mortal men.
Oh yeah.
Where I'm just like, whoa, what the hell?
And you mentioned something before last time we recorded. You like, yeah, it's something else they do in every movie, and I still like it. I'm not, I haven't get tired of it yet, but they do have to have a scene R2, R3, or 4 where he's running, and there's just giant shit falling behind him that barely misses him.
Yeah, and he blows up, and that concussion from the explosion throws his ass like into the stratosphere.
That's a good point.
And then he's in the hospital.
There's a lot of confusion with people who like to talk shit, especially on our site, about movies where they're trying to say whether they like or don't like it. That there's a lot of confusion that just because something is a trope, it is therefore bad, and that's just not the fucking case. You can't make a movie without tropes at this point.
If it's exciting, I don't mind. They had a scene where he was running and King Kong fell behind him. The Statue of Liberty had a spaceship, and he's still running, just barely missing it. I was like, I don't care. If you can make it exciting and put me on the edge of my seat, I'm cool with that.
I watch a fucking sequel to 2012 where it's just Tom Cruise running away from natural disasters all day long. That'll be the best movie ever. I'm sorry, he does a great job of it.
Outrun a natural
He's
disaster.
running past Cusack in his stretch limo. Going, what the fuck? You're a little slow today, huh?
I mean, if Tom Cruise wants to raise money for Scientology, he should just every week get in a race with a natural disaster.
Shit, that motherfucker run. He can run a full marathon in 5 minutes.
No shit.
That earthquake will be behind him going, shit.
That fool, he runs his ass off, man. But I tell you, it's for a movie like this, it's one thing to say that it's the best out of the series, because for me, I don't think that says much for the movie. You don't have to try that hard. I like that J.J. Abrams directed Mission Impossible, which was the third one. Hate those other two, but this one is. I mean, I can almost watch this and just pretty much disavow, the first three.
Just like the team is disavowed.
Just like there you go.
You're going to Cyrus now.
You know what? That motherfucker has affected me when I don't even know it, because I didn't even know I said that.
Are you serious?
I did not. No, that wasn't a pun. Well, maybe it was, only because I've been around that guy so much. Cyrus, I don't know what kind of nefarious plot you got going on, but it's working.
It's all falling into place.
No, Mr. Coleman, I expect you to pun.
Do you expect me to review? No, I expect you to pun. No, but this stands alone itself. You don't have to see any other Mission Impossible movie. And if you really want to see a major kick-ass action film that has just a great combination of, like I said, not only CG effects, but just wonderful stunts and just great camaraderie among the team. Good comedy. Simon Pegg, I got to give him credit, man, for just, bringing it in right at the right moment. It's not just him. The movie's pacing is done so well that when you need to, just lighten it up a little bit.
You need to breathe.
You got Simon Pegg there. He's, what would you call him?
Comic relief.
Well, he's comic relief, but what's his role in the team? He's like the
technical
tech specialist. Yeah.
Computer nerd.
He's the guy on the computer all the time. He's the guy they all hate, because it's like, man, I just got through getting my ass beat. I just got through almost falling off a building. You still on that fucking computer right there. Like, hey, man, I can't help it. I'm the smart one.
I love the look Tom Cruise was giving him throughout the entire movie. Like, how in the fuck did you get in my movie again? Who are you? Who are you? And who's your friends? Yeah.
Hey, should you be fighting zombies or something?
Yeah.
No, just, sum it all up. I mean, it is just a wonderful action film. It's one of those few action films that you really can say, I'm going to toss logic out. I'm going to go in here with no heavy expectations except to just enjoy myself and this ride that this movie carries me on. Really, it's almost up there with just enjoyment-wise is one of my favorite movies of the year. So yeah, I give this. It has problems, so I can't go full sex. But
damn,
very, very. And I wouldn't even think about it. I mean, the story in here, you take everything away, I'm gonna tell you, it's shit. But it's so much fun. I give it a major full price.
Yeah, I'm not with that whole throw logic away and turn my brain off thing. Except maybe this time.
Okay, I'm about to say, you calling me stupid? You know, most people call me dumb, man. Okay.
It's funny you talk about Simon Pegg as comic relief, because you think of comic relief as being somebody like Kim Jong, who's just there to make jokes. And that's not what Simon Pegg does. He is a competent member of the team who actually says things that, you know, you're thinking like you want that guy to kind of lighten things up. And yeah, he's one of the most developed. Everybody on the team is really developed. Probably my bigger disappointment is that there wasn't more with Tom Cruise. Like, his character just didn't have that much more personality. But you know what? So fuck it. So what? I mean, I talk about how there's a bunch of great set pieces strung together, but they are great set pieces. Like bringing in that sandstorm.
That was amazing.
It was amazing. Yeah. And the views of the cities of Mumbai and Dubai and Oba, but
Omar.
Yeah, but
bye bye.
But it's gorgeous, and the action sequences are great. And like I said, like that last 30 minutes, man, it all comes together so well on the edge of your seat. That chase sequence between Ethan Hunt and the villain, which is like something out of a Popeye cartoon when he's sleepwalking in a construction site almost. They're just playing keep away with a briefcase. I was like, it had me on the edge of my seat that whole time. I was like, wow, I don't remember last time I enjoyed myself this much watching a film. Yeah.
I saw you enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, up until that point, I was thinking like, it's kind of a matinee for me. It's good and bad. But from that point on, I was like, nope, it registered as a full price.
Well, it's one of these ones I was sold all the way through, and maybe it's because I was such a lifelong fan of Bond. I mean, literally lifelong. Growing up, like when I was 10, I had watched all the Connery films already multiple times. Like, yes, James Bond. Mom, can I be James Bond?
Mom, did you ever have sex with Sean Connery?
No, Cyrus, you have to be a fat film critic. I want to be James Bond. Just eat your Cheetos.
Sorry, that's not how I got this black eye.
But you know, I think that this is the best of this type of spy thriller. You know, of that crazy, over the top, super fun that we've seen in a long time. I mean, Bird nails it in so many ways. And like I said, he's fighting versus a script that has some issues. I don't think it's shit. I mean, they do a great job with the characters on the whole. I mean, yeah, they bring in the team and they sell you on the team. A lot of the dialogue, the punch up type stuff is really good. But where it really works is those set pieces, which will just, I mean, they're just like, yeah, you're saying, Leon, edge of your fucking seat at points. And the straight up the cinematography. I mean, there's just shots that you go, oh my God, that was fucking gorgeous. Just the way it's all timed, the sense of velocity and pacing with those shots. I mean, I was just sitting there going, man, I'm watching a new master do his craft. And regardless of what this movie's even about, it's so competently done. You can't give it anything but a full price.
Yeah. Shit, you pretty much said everything I wanted to. So I'm gonna give it a full price. And I was like, throughout the movie, I was really like just thinking, wow, this feels like a better than sex. But my only issue is I wish a little bit more meat was given to Tom Cruise, because I mean he is
Some people would say it already is.
Sorry. That was the autonomic reaction. I couldn't help
But
it.
as far as his story and you know, sure, his character has been developed as much as you can develop it, but just, you know, give him something a little bit more than just being a stunt guy throughout the whole movie, which is exactly what he was. But you know what? He worked. I mean, he really did. He was the one guy that needed to be intense for a good majority of all these scenes, especially all the set pieces, to actually work. And he definitely does his job. And for Brad Bird, wow. I mean, now I'm convinced, like, I'm curious what this guy would do with a script that he's able to control. And, you know, because I could tell watching the movie, I'm like, wow, I can see this guy's really like fighting what he can't really get down on paper. He's going to make up for it in set pieces, which he does magnificently. I mean, watching this film was like, wow, this is about as amazing of a feeling I get when I'm watching a Christopher Nolan movie, where it's like a guy who really knows how to command the camera, command his actors when they're doing scenes, and he delivers on all fronts. And I mean, this movie is probably the most exciting movie I've seen in the longest time. I'm shocked that it's not an actual summer movie, because thinking about the past summer, this is the movie I was really waiting for the longest time that I was never handed during the summer. So I mean, I'm giving this an all-out full price. The only thing it would be better than sex if Tom Cruise's character was developed a little bit more for me. You know?
Yeah, I always keep thinking like if his dialogue was snappier, not really like funny, or if he was more like just had more personality with the team, like he was that guy who was yelling at them or like trying to tell them like you got to do this, and I've lived a hard life and trust me. But as it was, yeah, he was just kind of the stunt man.
I kind of like that though, because like I said, we already know enough about him already, and he's got a sense that audiences
you say that,
are resenting the fact that he was so like his ego is the reason those previous films weren't that good, and now he's just a force of nature, and we already accept
well, you know, the only
that
problem with that is trying to convince people, you know what, this could be a standalone. It can't really be a standalone because you watch it, you have no idea what if you've never seen any of the other movies, you have no fucking clue what Tom Cruise is all about. Besides, he's just part of this team.
Well,
and the thing is, like, okay, the first movie wasn't good. The second movie was shit. The third movie, even though we said up until now it was the best one, but I've really forgotten that third movie.
Yeah, and I have to.
It was decent. We were like, wow, I can't believe I actually enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But not terribly memorable.
I will have to say one thing before I forget because I really wanted to bring this out. There is a point where you almost have to see the movie before because Ving Rhames comes out of the fucking blue
That's true.
for no reason, just hanging out having a beer, and you're like, I'm sure anyone who didn't see the last movie was like,
Why
what the fuck is
that
Ving
guy-
Rhames doing here, hanging out with Tom Cruise?
And there's a point in the movie where he even told them, he's like, yeah, man, well, y'all off doing y'all's missions. I was off in the ocean fighting piranhas and everything. You know?
I was killing zombies,
I was
and all
killing
kinds of
piranhas,
crazy
but,
shit.
you know. Yeah. But I'm back now, baby. I'm ready. I'm ready for what I want to do.
This operation's over before it even begins.
Would you care to explain yourself, Brandt?
Who are you really? We all have our secrets. Don't we, Ethan?